Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys had a wonderful week. Just back with another weekly portfolio update. In these videos, I just share weekly updates from my portfolio. My current milestone is I'm trying to reach 10K a month, and more specifically, I'm trying to make that 10K a month consistent. So, of course, there's going to be variations and payouts with these cover call ETFs, but just trying to see like what strategies I can use to get to that point where I can make a consistent 10K a month. But yeah, if you guys want to follow that journey, please subscribe. It helps. I love reading you guys' comments. It's so fun. But I appreciate you guys watching this video. But yeah, let's get right into it. So as you guys can see, I'm down a little bit over $1,000. At least when you're looking at the day view. Over the past week, as you can see, down about $1,000, a little bit over 5.5%. I know previously, uh, earlier last week, markets seemed to be doing good, and then Thursday, Friday came, and seemed like everything tanked. So that's probably the reason why you guys can see that I am at high risk margin status. I did start the week off originally with like around 26% margin buffer, at least on Monday. I sold my position in SMCY. I know I told you guys last week that I had bought that position just because I saw it as a good opportunity. Just trying to see, hey, if I can get the dividend, maybe I can also sell that position at least at my average cost, if not higher. I was able to sell out of that position. So I believe I made around $500, $600 out of that position. I'm really happy about that. I got it above my cost basis. So my cost basis I think was like around 29 and a 29.23, I believe. And then I sold it for around I think 31 something. So I personally I could have held it another day. I think I sold it on a Tuesday. Probably could have held it onto Wednesday. I know it went up a little bit more. I think it hit as high as like $34 I saw when I last checked. So really happy about that. Of course, those trades don't always work out, but I've done that in the past with Nvidia. It's really great when you can capture the dividend and then make some money off of it as well. I know SMCY for me personally was not a long-term hold. I wasn't interested in that. I wanted to put that money into XDTE, trying to make that my core. As you guys can see, I am up to 523 shares in XDTE. So I put a good amount of money into this fund this week. So right now I'm at a market value of about $26,000. So this is basically my largest position currently. As far as the weekly payers go in the high yield dividend ETFs of this type, I want XDTE, of course, to be like my main core holding. I think it's just a great stable holding, pays very consistently. I noticed, just been looking at it past like year, it just the price seems very stable. I know it sounds funny saying that when it's down below $50, that $50 range, but yeah, I think it's a great holding to have. Can't complain about the S&P 500, but yeah, I'm happy to have that now. So I've been trying to margin stack. I like margin stacking. When my portfolio was in better shape, I did notice that my buying power was less than my margin status. It's not the case now. So this is definitely not necessarily how you want to margin stack, but I think this might be due to just having a lot of my positions in 25% maintenance funds. So I like other people have And depending on like how you guys set up your portfolio, you might have to sell out of your positions just to get more buying power and then add those back in. But I think for me, for right now, I'm just going to hold on to my 25% maintenance funds. I think I overbought into those, and I think that's why I'm seeing this um, like buffer to buying power ratio. But overall, it's a fantastic strategy. And keep in mind too, I've been thinking about this, when you're margin stacking, at least for the low maintenance funds, you definitely want to think about what funds you want to keep. What funds do you want to keep longer term? So, for example, for me, XDTE is like a fund that I want to keep long term. I don't plan on selling out of that position. So, because if you need to sell out of a low maintenance position, you're going to first have to go through your largest maintenance position. In this case, for me, it's TSLP at 35% maintenance. Now, with TSLP, I have like less than $1,000 currently in market value in this one. So I originally put in a little bit over $1,000 just because I couldn't buy partial shares. But yeah, if say I get into a margin call, ideally you want to sell out of the highest maintenance first. If not, it can kind of fall apart. But I have no problems with that. I actually sold out of AAPY earlier not earlier this week, but on Friday, I believe. Sold out of that with a profit. I noticed with AAPY that the maintenance went up to 35%, and I can verify that here. Originally, when I bought it, it was at 30% maintenance, and I think just considering the dividend yield, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to sell out of it for right now. Maybe I'll buy it back into it when it's lower maintenance requirement. I know it's a lower paying fund, but I mean, it's Apple. So I'm like, I'm just going to sell out of it for right now. But yeah, like for example, that didn't really affect me too much because it was 35% maintenance compared to pretty much 98% of my positions are in 25% maintenance. So definitely I recommend margin stacking. Just don't do it how I have it right now. So yeah, definitely I'm not doing the ideal way of doing it. I'm going to have to probably pay off some margin and then figure that out from here. But yeah, overall, I think margin stacking is a wonderful strategy. Just keep in mind what core positions that you want. You don't want something that you think that you're going to have to sell out of. So that's why I've been a little cautious with crypto funds. I've been on and off about YBTC, for example, but with the crypto market, it's a 25% maintenance fund, by the way. So it's like if I need to sell it, then I'm going to have to sell it out of like my higher maintenance funds first to then get to that one. So you know what I mean. So you just want to consider that. I think that's a thought that I personally had. But yeah, other than that, sold out of AAPY. I pretty much just bought more XDTE, just a ton more. But that's really about it as far as positions go. Let's see. Yeah, I bought a good. I'm trying to see how much I bought. Yeah, on February 19th, I bought 10,000 shares, or not 10,000 shares, sorry, $10,000 worth of XDTE. And then on Friday, I put in like over $2,000 worth of XDT, uh, bought over $2,000 worth of XDTE. So yeah, I just been loading up on XDTE. I think it's at a good price. Honestly, anything right now is probably at a good price, but really happy about that. I'm not worried about my margin buffer. I got cash on the side. I'm not worried about that at all. So it's definitely not what I would recommend. I think personally, I want to be around 20% margin buffer at minimum. I think I talked about that in my previous videos. Definitely not financial advice. You guys got to consider your own risk. Um, I think that's really important. Just consider that with margin. Um, since, of course, when you're leveraging margin, your gains are going to be amplified, but your losses are also going to be amplified. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, currently margin used, I've used almost 43,000 out of my over $44,000 that I have available. But yeah, and then of course, I know RoundHill recently came out with these new weekly paying funds. So as you can see, they came out with funds for NVIDIA, Tesla, Apple, Coinbase, and Palantir. And man, if you guys were watching Palantir or this Palantir fund, holy crap, it dropped on the first day. It was so bad. I think it dropped like over 20%. PLTW did. It just came out on a really bad day when there's news on Palantir. Um, I've been trading in and out of Palantir a little bit, so I've been watching that one. But yeah, the interesting thing with these weekly pairs, they're actually not cover call ETFs. So they're derivative funds. And I'm going to be honest, I know nothing about derivatives. So they are leveraged funds. So I think they're 1.2%, they're 1.2 leverage. So 120%, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I might be wrong. But I think these track more of the share price. So you're not actually, say, buying into Apple or Tesla. They're just more tracking the prices, I believe. That's really all that I know. But with these funds, I'm going to watch these. I don't think they're great long-term holds. They might be good for like trading. They pay on Tuesdays, which is really enticing. But I think these are really good if you're really bullish on a stock. I don't think they're great long-term holds just because they really amplify your losses. If the stock, if the underlying is going down, like say 10%, I think you could expect it to go at least double that, I believe. So with the Palantir one, for example, this is the one I've been really watching. Yep, leverage product. Robinhood will warn you on that. But oh my goodness, in the last week it's dropped like over like 20%. Then you compare that to the underlier Palantir. Hold on, it's loading. Yeah, in the last week it's dropped like 15%. Okay. Yeah, I don't know necessarily what I'm talking about. But yeah, I think these are leverage products. Keep that in mind. I don't know if these are great long-term holds. I think personally, out of all of these, the Apple one I think is the best one if you want to hold long-term. I think the least volatile stocks are probably ideal for holding these long-term, I would think, because Apple just doesn't move as much as, say, like Tesla, NVIDIA, Palantir, Coinbase. I mean, it's kind of the I one out here out of all of these. I know they're coming out with an Amazon one, Microsoft one, other ones. But yeah, I might experiment with these. I would be very cautious looking into these. But yeah, they're not cover call funds, just letting you guys know. And yeah, again, I know nothing. So don't follow me, please. But yeah, I just wanted to share that. I think it'd be cool. And I know I thought they were going to be like cover call funds similar to YieldMax and Curve. I was kind of more hoping for that, but I know they're coming out with a Mag 7 cover call fund, I believe, soon. So that'll be nice. But yeah, it they pay on Tuesdays, so in theory you could get paid multiple times a week, and like a lot of people like to do, including myself, you can use a lot of your margin or all your buying power. Well, not all, but maybe a lot of it on, like, say, Thursday, Friday night, and then you get paid out in dividends. You can do it again and again. I think it's such a great strategy. But of course, for me, I don't have a lot of buying power anyways. But yeah, the frequency of payouts is really nice in terms when you're using margin, of course. I think that's when it's very advantageous. I know people argue if the compounding effect is greater or not. For me, it doesn't matter. I don't necessarily care about the compounding effect so much. For me, it's more you're paying off your margin more frequently, or paying that down, excuse me, more frequently. I think it's very advantageous when you're using margin. It just lowers your overall risk of a margin call, which a margin call might not be necessarily as big of a deal. For me, I've only been margin called a couple times, and normally it's been only a couple $100 at most, and then normally it solves itself. But of course, try not to go into it. It's not what I'm trying to say. I've been ranting way too long. But yeah. And then, of course, for the distributions paid out this week, for February, I've been paid out a total of $1,138.96. Though that might not be completely accurate, I'm still playing around with this dashboard. Uh, I know, for example, on the Thursday payout here, this is not accurate. I get paid around $36, excuse me. Friday, I believe this is accurate. I got paid out around $269 from QDTE, RDT, and XDTE. But so far for February, as you guys can see, that's my payout, $1,138.96. But yeah, if you guys don't like spreadsheets, creating a dashboard in, say, Power BI is a very good option. It Once you set up the dashboard, super easy. All you do is you go into RoundHill and you go to your account. You click on reports and statements, and I'm not going to click it just because it shows my name. Don't really want that out there, at least right now. But I took a screenshot of that page. So you go into reports and statements. All you have to do is just customize your report with the dates. So for me, for example, I'm just doing 2025. So January 1st as the start date, then end date February 23rd or 22nd from the last time I pulled a report. And you just save it on a location on your computer and or OneDrive, whatever, and just refresh the dashboard, and that's it. So pretty easy. And it's very customizable. So that's why I'm using this. I still do look at my dividend tracker. I think I've had issues with that, with like the calendar and some of the payments not coming in on time. Like when I last checked today, like some of my positions aren't like completely updated and the calendar seems messed up. I know with the dashboards here, you can create a calendar visual, but yeah, this is way easier. I think just a lot prettier to look at than a spreadsheet. I'm not necessarily a big fan of spreadsheets. That's just my personal opinion. I like dashboards, so it's super easy. Just trying to think of ways that I can better present the income and distributions trend to you guys. But this is just something I came up with. Just super simple. Just wanted to share that as well. But yeah, guys, I think that's about it for this week's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and take care.